Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, the Fitness App channel, because this is going to be a lot of fitness talk today. We definitely see that. we also going to have a discussion, obviously, about nutrition, because when you talk fitness and health, wellness, nutrition is part of that. So we're going to cover all that. So the nutritious channel. I mean, we're just gonna have fun today with my guest, and you probably heard her laugh right now. I'm not sure if you saw her yet, but here's the thing. I'm a fan of hers. She hosts a podcast as well, and she enlightens a lot of people, which matches our mission here. But also today is about her and about her brand and her work, and she does help people to really stay fit. And doing it at home and just doing it in a way where it doesn't take a lot of time, which is usually the biggest problem that we hear about. So without any further ado, I have with me Jennifer Shaver. Jennifer, how are you? Or
Yes.
shall I call you Jen?
Either one. It's fine. Yeah. I'm
All
good
right.
with either one.
All right. Well, you go by Jen on social, right? So
Yes.
I'll go with
Yeah.
Jen.
It's shorter,
Yeah.
3 letters.
Yeah, listen, you don't have to tell me. That's why I have Hurricane. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier for people than my name, right? So,
Yeah.
well, Jen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Thank
network.
you.
Like I said before, I am a fan. I follow you, and I see your interviews all the time with your various guests, and
Yes.
you're doing a great job there. And
Thank
like I
you.
said, I mean, uh, we live in a world. There's a lot of crazy stuff, and we are busy with life, and sometimes that goes on the detriment of our health, and health comes with a lot of things, including being fit and being healthy
Right.
and
Right.
well so before we go into the whole thing, so just
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into the fitness world and really the coaching and mentoring and training.
Yeah, sure. So I was a long time ago, once upon a time, a Spanish teacher, a middle school Spanish teacher.
Hola.
And then, yes, hola. And then my daughter was born 22 years ago, and I was a stay-at-home mom for all three of my kids until 2020 came. And then
Ooh.
everything stopped, right?
Mhm.
Well, with that stoppage came, a lot of time at home and a lot of time we weren't running to the track to watch my daughter run or to the soccer field to watch my son play. So I had a lot of time, and my older two were about to graduate. My oldest was a senior, then the next one was a junior. So they were about to, head off onto their own new adventures. And I decided, well, you know what? I've got this time now where we're at home. I don't have sporting events to be to. They are going to be gone anyway in a few years. I'm going to pursue my next chapter. And so I have always been very fitness minded. I am a marathoner. I used to do triathlons. I just have always been somebody that fitness was a part of my life. Even when I was teaching, I would get up and do Denise Austin workouts before going to school. So yeah, I know, right? And then she had a pregnancy video, which I did as well. So the teacher in me wanted to do something, but not go back into the regular classroom. So I went from teaching middle school kids Spanish to teaching middle-aged women how to exercise and age successfully. So that's how I came to be.
Well, that there's a lot in there, and
Yeah.
it's funny you talked about like how you were watching those programs back in the days. That's what we
Yeah.
had. You buy a
Right.
program, CDs, and you
Uh-huh. Oh,
just
yeah.
work out with them, or some of these channels had them, as you
Uh-huh.
buy and whatever. It was pretty fun stuff. But with the age that we have and the technology and everything, I mean, now you can have access to apps and through
Right.
social media, you can do exercise, you can do a lot of things. But I love the story. First of all, I love what you said about that you always had fitness in you, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's actually something we all have to strive. And people are watching and listening right now.
Right.
If you haven't had fitness as part of your life, it's never too late. You can still do it because you said a
Exactly.
keyword. You want the middle-aged women to actually be healthier and fitter and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, that you don't have to wait for that time to happen. From early on, it's good. And I have to, and we're probably going to touch on this, the new generation. we know statistically obesity is at a record high, and it
Right.
affects a lot of the youth. And then just imagine what it would look like in a couple of years to come. And when those that like my kids, your kids, come to
Right.
that middle age, it
Hmm.
could be catastrophic if we're not there. So we want to
Right.
bring this culture of fitness and wellness. So
Right.
thank you for thinking about that. Now
Yeah.
you were a Spanish teacher, and
Yeah.
then well, COVID, I have to say, 2020 is a historic year, right? I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
things that happen. Obviously, the pandemic, but in the midst of the pandemic, what I have stated and noticed, and a lot of my guests actually, and I hear all the time, there has been a shift, and many people took advantage of that lockdown and
Right.
time to
Yeah.
shift, and get into whatever they love to do. And many have succeeded, and Jen, you're one of them. You made the shift, and it's been working out, and you're growing, and you're getting your brand
Yeah.
out, and you're helping people. So I just wanted to just highlight that item. But so let's talk about ultimately you were involved and you were fit and you were always doing stuff.
Right.
But why specifically decided like let's do this for middle-aged women or mid-aged women? Is that
Probably because
specific?
that's my demographic. Yeah.
Okay,
you
okay,
know,
all right.
you know, because I am right there down in the trenches with them, going through the changes that happen midlife, not only with, our bodies, but throughout our life with, our changing family dynamics. Our kids are going off, our kids are growing, they're getting older. We have aging parents that we have to sometimes deal with, or, changes in careers, whatever it might be. It's a time in life when there's a lot of change going on. And I'm part of the change, so I get it. I know what I understand, and I can relate to them.
Well, they said midlife crisis, but this is not
Yeah.
crisis. This is actually a
No.
strategic. This is the strategic, midlife, action.
Right.
Change and
Yeah.
shift. And by the way,
Hmm.
I thank you for it because you touch on two things. Yes, I mean for the most part, people in this age, typically have graduating kids, and they're
Hmm.
probably elderly, parents. And by the way,
Right.
I'm exactly in the same realm,
Yeah.
in the same group here because I do my kids. They're actually graduating this year. I had one already that's gone,
Yeah.
and I have a parent that still lives with me, so I can tell you, it's exactly that. Now that I'm a guy, you focus more on women, but the fact of the matter, we all kind of go through the same process. But you're right,
Right.
there is a different
Right.
dynamic for women specifically. There's perimenopause, there's menopause, there's all these things that start happening. Like again, we're talking about a nice a range of age between 45 to 55. Yeah, it's
Right.
pretty. So some people have it earlier, some have it later, but it is a very critical time frame, to
Right.
maintain. I just watched actually a couple of clips of your last interview that
Oh,
just
yeah.
posted, and
Yes.
the idea was about like I want to do my stuff, by myself. I don't want someone to help me, at 70 or 80 to do my chores and things like that. And that
Right.
was like that's a big moment. I mean, I shared that clip, but really that's powerful stuff because there's one thing we can all agree on. It doesn't matter how long we live. We just want to live healthier because you can live but not be
Yep.
healthy and,
Right.
and mobile
Yeah.
and have issues with your ADLs or activities of daily
Hmm.
living, and then therefore you're not really enjoying life. I mean, what's the point, right? So
Right.
so so your mission really helps people transform and stay in their shape or get in shape so they can be prepared for that long term ahead of them, because you
Right.
said it, we spent a lot of years with our kids, and I have to say, mothers usually do more than guys. And all the credits to the mothers out there because you do. And somehow, the guys are the guys, the ladies are the ladies. But the fact is, you do more. I mean, there's we see a lot more women doing the work with the kids and taking care of business. And I don't know whatever family matters are. Some people
Right.
agree to that's the formula, whatever the case. But it takes time. It's a
Yeah.
lot of energy. Listen, I do some of it, and I'm drained. I just had
Yeah.
to take my kids today just to for a haircut and ice cream, and it was a pain. So I can tell you how tough it is when you have to do the soccer and this and the other and the
Right.
practice. That's a painful. And so I always admire the work that's being done out there,
Yeah.
with women and taking care of business plus work. I mean, you weren't just doing
And
let's
that's
say.
just it. There's so much on women's plates, and the thing that usually gets thrown off the plate is her health, because she's so busy doing all the other things, right?
Well, again, well, here's the thing. In your case, fitness has always been with you. And
Right.
but not everybody has that. Many
Exactly.
don't have that. I mean, a lot of people, they let themselves go because
Hmm.
again, they're sacrificing,
Right.
their work because I mean, today's economy, you have to work, for the most part,
Right.
there's always
Right.
two people working, or
Yeah.
there's sometimes they're single mothers, that's the other part,
Hmm.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and so that's even tougher. And then you have to run and do stuff, and kids are demanding, and you have to be there for them to give them the right, upbringing.
Right.
But then you said it, they let themselves go. I mean, you clearly said, like, people have to take care of themselves.
Right.
And so now you dedicate yourself to do these programs and work with them. You
Hmm.
have your own fitness program. So let's go through that whole system. Like, how do you
Hmm.
do it? What does it involve? Because I know a little bit about it, but I would like you to
Hmm.
share with our
Yeah.
audiences what that program looks like.
Yeah, of course. So, I always tell my ladies, if you fail to prepare, prepare to be frail.
I like that.
You have to think of your body like you do your retirement account. So you are busy right now putting in that money. So that way, 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the road, you can go and make withdrawals, right? Your body has to work the same way. So if you are not putting in the time now, 10, 15 years, maybe even 5 years down the road, you're not going to be able to make those same withdrawals from your body. Your body is not going to be able to give you what you want it to down the road. So, that's the point of my program, is to prepare and help women to age successfully. It's not to get on the cover of Sports Illustrated in your bikini. It's to improve your quality of life as you age. And, I want women to understand that that doesn't demand that she spend hours in the gym. It's possible to prepare your body by doing strength training 2 times a week at 30 minutes. And, what I do in my program, my Strong for Life program, is my ladies have the option of doing their workouts for 15 minutes, 4 days a week, or they can do it 2 days at 30 minutes. So it's made to fit into their schedules because we want them to be consistent with it. So I understand that some days, oh my God, I don't have 30 minutes, but I could probably find 15 minutes, right? I mean, how many times do you sit down and you're scrolling for more than 15 minutes, right? I mean, we're all guilty of it. So, yeah, I mean, and if you sit there and you say, oh no, I just don't have 15 minutes, then the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is do a time audit of your day and just take one day, and every time you go to open your phone, write that down. And you can still open it. I don't care, but write down how long you spend on it. And then at the end of the day, tell me you don't have 15 minutes, right? And you know what? Maybe there are some days, but that's why there's 7 days in a week. And the program only requires that you do it 4 days for 15 minutes.
Well, you just
So,
beat everybody who has any excuse that says
right,
I do not have time, because technically you're not demanding much from people,
right,
and you're right. I mean, it can be done in a little time, if as long as
right,
it's consistent, right? I mean, consistency
right.
is the key.
And
By
that's
the way,
just it.
I love what the spin on, plan to fail. I mean, fail to plan, and fail to
Yeah,
well,
prepare to be frail.
prepare to fail
Yeah,
is prepare to
yeah,
fail. I love that, but it's true, because
right,
uh, we always, at a younger age, um, you think that you're invincible. I make this statement all the time, because I've been there.
yeah,
You think that your body is gonna take a beating, and it's gonna continue doing exactly what it's been doing.
yeah,
And every decade, that goes by, you start seeing some level of decline. I mean, there's a
right,
little bit of an up, and then it starts, plateauing, and then you start feeling like I got to do more to just compensate.
Hmm.
And then and again, it's for me, but I know that goes for everybody. My wife is also into fitness, and I can tell you, every year things change, and you got to do more
Right.
and work, and
Right.
it's not very simple. It
Right.
takes a lot of stuff, and then you get tired. There's also the hormones. There's this. There's the whole events of the world. I mean, it could
Hmm.
be very stressful,
Right.
and work can happen. I mean, it's very difficult. And then the first thing we have that all of us are guilty of is, oh, time. I mean, that's the first common excuse that we see it everything. And by the way, that's for everything, not
Exactly.
just fitness.
Right.
I don't have time to do
Right.
this. I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to go to here.
Uh-huh.
I don't have time to vacation. We need to
Yeah.
figure out a way. And again, planning is a key. I mean,
Oh, for
you
sure.
it's for everything, right? But
Right.
there's nothing. I mean, I had the show recently, and one of the things that my guest stated is that, you know, you gotta have health to have wealth, because without health there is
Right.
no wealth. I mean, we hear that, you know, that
Right.
health is
Right.
wealth.
Your health is your wealth. Right. Right. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the planning is the key, right? Because I always say, how many teams have won the Super Bowl without a game plan? Nobody.
None.
Nobody shows up to win the championship without a game plan. So the only way you're going to have success is if you have a plan. And that plan needs to be, written down, not just kind of up here, wishy-washy plan. Write that sucker down. Get your calendar out and write it down. Does that mean it's set in stone? Nope. Got to be flexible too, right? But you have to start with a plan.
Yeah, and I love what you said, because that is a sentence or statement that many top coaches and in the business world and not, are always stating, write it down.
Yeah,
You cannot have it, just in the brain and just like, because you will forget and you will get
right,
distracted. You got to see it in your face. You got to have it in
right,
print, and, whether it's in sticky, whether it's on your notes, whether in your
right.
calendar, step by step, what you're going to do. And that goes for everything. But you're right. If you don't do it, you will miss it. uh, you
Right.
know, and your formula is not really difficult. I mean, a lot of people
No.
stress like you need to do 3 days, 4 days, half hour to 1 hour. I mean, there are modalities, different modalities of
Right.
fitness, but at
Right.
core, if you do strength training and things like that, as you said, you can do it. And 15 minutes in 4 days is nothing. I mean, you're right.
Right.
If you take a phone right now and we just keep looking at TikTok or Instagram, chances are it's gonna take 15 minutes before you actually your eyes
At
are off.
least, right?
Easy.
At least.
Listen, I'm guilty. I mean, I'm doing it for
We, you
work.
know what? We all are. We all are because you just mindlessly are, and then before you know it, like you
It's
said, you look up
entertaining.
and you're like, holy mackerel, where'd my 25 minutes go? Can I have that back? Because I have nothing for it.
Well, it's funny because I applied something for me. This is true. I actually have one of those like training bikes, like home bikes,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Uh, so I watch, if I want to watch something, I just go on it and I watch it while I'm doing it. So I
Yeah.
am, at
Nice.
least I am not, because I was getting to that same point, like, oh my God, I have to go, I have to do stuff. So I figured
Yeah.
a way that if I am not going to the gym or not doing something, at least I'm doing
Hmm.
some movement. And so
Right.
and so it takes away the excuse. There's no excuse.
Right.
So now you started this straight off, the 2020 mark,
Right.
and
Hmm.
so how long is the actual program, if anything? Like, does someone
It's a
has to come in?
monthly subscription. So
Okay,
the
okay.
exercises change. There's a Monday workout and a Friday workout, and then there's also a Wednesday workout, which um, is another. It's a shorter 15 minutes, but it's more mobility work that's thrown in there. Um, so the exercises are different on Mondays and Fridays, and then at every 4 weeks, my ladies get a new set of workouts, and they're off and running with new workouts to do.
Is that like a head training
No,
combination?
it is all slow, controlled movements. You can use weights if you have them. If you're new to strength training, I advise you to start with body weight and then work your way up to weights. I show my ladies how to use things around the home if they don't want to invest in weights. Filling a backpack with books, water
Nice.
bottles filled with sand, are great for lateral raises and front raises. Just finding things around your home that are heavy that you can use for squats.
I'm listening to you. I'm thinking about the pandemic, because you couldn't even find anything out
Well,
there.
that's just it. Right.
Yeah, people could not buy dumbbells or anything out there
Right.
in the market. There was nothing going on, no bikes and
Right.
nothing. So ideally, we have our body weight and it works.
Mhm.
And then you have also like things that you can have, like you
Right.
have books, you can carry them. I mean, you can
Laundry detergent. Those things are heavy,
couple of pounds each, and that's
you
all you
know?
need, right? I mean, but you're right.
Right.
Like, things are around us. So again, no excuses, folks. You cannot come up with any reason
Right.
why you can't. I don't have this or the money. Like, I don't have the money to purchase equipment.
Right.
Your body is there. And by the way,
Exactly.
I can relate to that. I mean, I've trained in martial arts, since I was a
Yeah.
kid. And for the most part, martial arts training has no weights involved. I mean, it's
Right.
all body strength training. And, I
Yep.
mean, everybody knows what a push up is, right? And we used to do like hundreds of those,
Yep.
like in
Oh, yeah.
nonstop.
I'm big on
We,
those.
well, they're big. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we used to
They're so
count,
important.
well, they are, and they work. I mean, your
Yeah.
arms, your back, your chest, everything is working.
Yep.
You even your abs. I mean, are
Hmm.
part of that. Yeah, you do squats. I mean, you can just like sit, like we have what we call gibadachi or like horse stands, right?
Oh,
Horse
yeah.
stands are like your squats, on steroid. I mean, you just got to
Yeah.
sit there. I mean, they work. That stuff is like unbelievably
Right.
workable. So, but
Yeah.
it's like it's a lot easy, but yet it is not being done or being
Right.
taken advantage of. It is difficult. I mean, so I really thank you and I appreciate that
Hmm.
you've come up with a system that is not requiring a lot of work,
Right.
from someone physically or financially
Right.
to actually
Right.
get
Well, I
fit.
want it to be accessible. That's the idea. Is the accessibility of it to all women because they all deserve to age successfully.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, listen, I mean, again, we talked about it. You want to age successfully. You don't want to be frail. You want to be
Right.
healthy. And again, there are benefits to fitness,
Hmm.
right? I mean,
Right.
so Jen, why don't you guide us through some of the benefits that they will get? Because someone will say, well, strength training, what is that going to do for me? Why don't you
Hmm.
share with us some of the actual facts about the training and the concepts
Yeah.
and how it benefits them in the long run?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know that, starting in our 40s, we start to lose our lean muscle mass. And with each decade, it's 3 to 5%. And so by the time you hit 60, that loss accelerates. Well, that's just the muscle, right? That's not even the bone density that we're talking about. And we know that as we age, we also run the risk of falls. And that risk of falling and the serious injury, even death from falls over 50 is high. So strength
Very.
training will help to, mitigate those dangers. So, that might not sound very exciting, but think about the things that you are doing right now and that you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy gardening. Do you want to continue? Do you see yourself gardening and carrying bags of mulch or, digging in the soil 10 years from now? Because if you do, you have to have the muscle to do that. I'm not talking about strength training so we're looking like Arnold up on stage. I'm talking about strength training that just builds the muscles for everyday living. I mean, I go to mass or to the grocery store and you'll see somebody that has trouble getting in and out of a car or pushing the grocery cart. They're like holding on to dear life to that cart. And my thought is I do not want that. That is
Well,
not a place that I want to be.
I'm with you.
So
It's not
what
fun.
do I do so I'm not there? Whatever it is, tell me what I do, and I'm going to do that. I want to be able to, years down the road, I want to hang out and be the fun grandma. I don't want to be the grandma that sits on the couch and watches the kids run around. I want to be the grandma that's running around with the kids. I want to be able to pick the kids up. I want to be able to go up and down steps. I want to go to their games and not worry about, going up the stadium steps. And that's really, when you look at it like that and look at it as I want to improve the quality of my life as I age, then you see the importance of the strength training. Because the only way that you're going to get muscle and bone density as you age is to strength train. I love walking. I love running, but those things do not provide me the muscle and the bone density that I need. So if I want to continue doing those things, if I am somebody that loves to walk, if I want to continue walking as I age without any problems, without, difficulties or a limp, right? I mean, look at how many times do you go to the store or go out and you see somebody who's older that's walking around with a limp? Almost every time you're out.
Yep. Or younger sometimes too. I mean,
well, right. Hey, I was one of those people because I wasn't doing my strength training and I was marathoning. Well, guess what happens? You get injured, no matter your age. So you have to build that muscle, and it's not sexy, it's not fun, for some people, and they might consider it boring. But you got to do the boring work in order to have fun, right? It's just like you have to do your homework if you want to get the A.
Like everything else, right? I mean, no, you gave the best example. Nobody wins championships without plan, without doing the work. It's the work. But there's something else that is very powerful in your discussion. Like if you don't do this, not only you're not going to have the muscle, the bone density, but if you're not active, you're not going to do anything. Now you're going to start gaining more weight, which will affect everything else. And then your health is going to start really in a quicker decline. And now you have, heart problems, diabetes, blood pressure, everything else will add up to this. The three stooges come along together. I mean, they kind of hang out together. Yeah.
Right. That's a great point, and you might not notice it at first, right? You might be 55 and, oh no, I don't need that right now. I'm good. Wait another 10 years, right? And then what happens? Am I saying that at 65, it's too late? It's never too late, right? It's only too late when you're 6 feet under.
I love it. That's powerful. But you listen. You go to the gym. I mean, you see some people that are really an old age and they're still pumping and pushing and doing the stuff and very active. And you talked about like walking and running. That's great. That's good cardio, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want to build that cardio rhythm, the whole thing, oxygenate and all that. But again, you're right. The mass, the muscle, we lose it by default. It's just there is nothing you can do about it. You can eliminate, or you can lose it at a lesser rate and kind of keep it pumped. And you're right. 75, 85. There is no reason why you cannot maintain at even 90. I believe it. This is a true story. I trained in we had a martial arts camp, a couple of years back, and one of our professors that were training people was 90 plus. This guy looked stronger than the youth that we had in that room, including myself, and this was like, I was like 35 and we were all in shape. And you got this dude who's 90. Yeah. His son actually was also an advanced, belt, and they were doing a demo and he was taking his son, and his son was just a big dude, massive. He was taking him down like that guy was like made of, paper. But that's like, and he was literally 90 plus. I think it was 91 or 92. And it was like amazing. I mean, I still have him in my mind, like as a picture. Like, this is the dude. And he looked strong. He was tough. And one of his, skills was he's always been in the, martial arts. And so therefore there's a lot of strength training that goes with that. Yeah. And every day you train. And, now ultimately this is an advanced, kind of concept. But in your case, this doesn't take much. I love what you said. 15 minutes, 4 days, half hours. And now you can do more, right? I mean, this is, your system says do this, but if they do more, they do more. It's not going to hurt them, right? Right. No, exactly. And, I think it's also worth mentioning the cognitive benefits of strength training and exercise in general. It has a profound effect on, they're showing studies now on your memory, on warding off Alzheimer's. So it's, there's other benefits besides just, the muscle, which to me is more than enough. But if that's not enough for you, the cognitive benefits as you age are also a part of, strength training benefits. There's also a social aspect to it, right? I mean, because you do classes. I'm not sure if these are one-on-one or group, like, sessions. But there's definitely, I mean, I see people in the gym, they're sociable, they're active, they have friends. It becomes a very, like a community, right? And, you do belong to a group. You belong to, another family, right? And that keeps you motivated, keeps you going. Right. So your mind is... Well, it keeps you healthy to still be able to go and do the things with your friends, right? But it's true. I mean, listen, let's go dancing. No, I can't.
Right.
You sleep at 8 o'clock because your body is not really anymore, in shape to actually go out,
Hmm.
and then we all hear that story like, oh, I used to hang out, late and I can't do
Yeah.
anymore. I used to have energy and I don't have energy. I love what you said, Jan, about the concept of being a grandparent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
eventually, if you're going to live long and you have children, there's a good chance you're going to have grandkids. Some
Right.
people actually, by the way, this is true. I have observed people who are much younger, or maybe in the 40s or the 50s, and they cannot even take care of their own kids because they have, like, they had their kids at a later age, but they're not in
Right.
shape to maintain. I
Hmm.
mean, you stated you
Right.
go out to soccer games and stuff like that, but if you're not in shape, you can't keep up. I mean,
No,
kids have
it's
require a
taxing.
lot of energy. Exactly, it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So Jen, now the muscle and strength training is great. Now,
Hmm.
what is the importance of nutrition with this? Because you have to maintain a certain
Oh, yeah.
diet level to
Right.
actually continue with your muscle growth and build up, right? So let's talk about that piece of
Yeah.
it. And do you actually provide any of that in the program?
I do. Well, I provide some guidance. I am not a registered dietitian, so I do not do meal plans, but I do provide guidance in that because we know that you cannot outrun or out exercise a bad diet. And by bad diet, I mean one that is not healthy, right? I hate to
Oh,
label foods good and bad, but, you know, if you are eating a lot of fast food and a lot of packaged food, it doesn't matter how many hours you're on the treadmill or how many days you're in the gym pumping iron or whatever it is, it's going to catch up with you. And especially as we age, we talked about the strength training to build muscle. Well, we can't build the muscle if we're not eating what our body needs. And so, I always tell my ladies, and really I think women more so than men tend to be a little lower on that protein, um, with the protein on their plate. So I try to emphasize to my ladies that, please, ladies, the first thing you're going to do is prioritize your protein. I'm not demonizing carbs. I love carbs and we need them, right? That they are a part of a healthy diet. But you need to, if you are going to maintain that muscle that you're building and build that muscle that you're showing up to exercise for, you have got to be eating your protein. So, I tell them, try to get 30 grams of protein at each meal. Now, that's the minimum. Do I want more? Do I want to see them eating more? Certainly. But, starting there I found is a great place for most women to start because they find that 90 grams to be, somewhat intimidating, like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? So I usually have them start out with one meal. I said, okay, let's get one meal under control where we are hitting that 30 at that meal for, about 2 weeks. And then we'll start to add another meal and then another meal. And now I want to add a snack that's got at least 15 grams in it. How's that? And, if we can do that, then we have the strength training and we're consistent with both of those things. Okay, now we're really starting to move that needle in the right direction towards feeling better. Next component is sleep. Because so many women struggle with sleep, particularly during that perimenopause time. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I'm not sleeping. And then what happens when you don't sleep? You eat bad, right? You eat garbage because that's what you're craving. So it's like this vicious cycle of, women can't figure out, well, why, what is going on with my body? Well, let's get all of our ducks in a row. Not all in one day, not all in one week, right? But let's look at each of these components. Let's look at that strength training. Let's look at that protein. And now let's look at that sleep. In fact, I really tell women that that's the first place that they should start is sleep.
oh, by the way, you're right on the money there. There is
Yeah.
there is a very every guest I had that is an expert in terms of the health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is a factor that you
Yeah.
cannot do. For mental and physical health, you need to have your
Exactly.
beauty your beauty sleep, and you
Right.
need at least a 7 to 8 hours,
Yeah.
to really refresh and reset your body and get it going. And
Right.
there is no way you can run on a couple hours and think that you're going to be healthy. You might do it at a certain point, but and maybe when you're younger, you
Right.
can. but there is a point where if you're not doing that, you're going to be a zombie, and
Yeah.
you're going to not function correctly. Therefore, to your point, you're going to be eating the wrong way, and binge eating, all these things, and that's not
Yeah.
going to do good for you. So the sleep is definitely. And I love what you said about protein. Now the only question I have on that is that is there a particular protein? Because people say, well, like, I don't want to eat a lot of meat. I mean, there's
Hmm.
substitutions. There's multiple ways to get your proteins in, and 90 grams. And by the way,
Right.
I think there is a chart actually. If anybody Googles, you can have a chart of like your weight and how many
Exactly.
proteins you can get per day, or grams
Right.
per. So there's all that's available today. So
Hmm.
what would you recommend in terms of that, in case someone just is asking like, well, I don't like to eat a lot of meat, or is it
Hmm.
chicken, is it fish, is it beef? I don't know, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Right. I like to say that each person is different. So I know that there are many people out there that do very well with a vegan lifestyle, and that is fine. So I think it really depends on you and your body, because you need to find what works for you. Because if you go down that road and you're like, I just don't feel well, then it's okay. I don't want you to feel like you're stuck and you're never going to be healthy because you couldn't do this particular way of eating. There is a way of eating for you and your body. Each person is different, and you have to find what works best for you. Do I eat meat? Yes, I do. I eat red meat. I eat chicken. The only thing I don't eat is fish. It's not because I think it's bad for you. It's because I just don't like it. So those are the foods that I don't like, that I don't eat, right? The ones that I'm allergic to, which I don't think I have any food allergies, and the ones that I don't like. And that's it. I think sometimes we get caught up in, well, I read that you should eat this and you shouldn't eat that and you shouldn't, and this, that, and the other. And that just complicates the whole thing. So find protein sources that you enjoy and that are going to get you the needed protein, and go with that. Right now, obviously you don't want to be eating, if you like red meat, you don't want to be going to McDonald's and eating McDonald's every day to get your red meat, right? I mean, we want to be doing it in a smart way.
There's a
So
question mark
let's,
about that meat though, but
yeah, yeah. So let's be reasonable when I say, if that's what you enjoy, go for the grass-fed beef, go for lean meats, go for lean ground turkey. There's ground chicken, go for chicken breasts. Salmon is great if you enjoy fish. Shrimp is great source of protein if you, again, enjoy seafood. There are a lot of options out there. Find what works for you and your body. And that's the best way for you to be successful. Because I think so many times what happens is, we see the articles at the grocery store and the magazine. Well, I'm supposed to eat this, this, and this. Well, you might not like this, this, and this, but for the first week, you are killing it because you're like, I am focused, I am doing this. And after 2 weeks, you're just like, I just can't do this anymore. And then you just, throw the baby out with the bathwater and you're done. And you go back to just, not being healthy. So part of being healthy is finding the healthy foods that you enjoy and that you can eat for the rest of your life, right? Because this isn't a 30-day challenge that we're on. This is a lifestyle that we're working towards.
that's just powerful stuff. By the way, I enjoy this type of discussion because you're not, you're giving people the flexibility, as you said. They have to have whether it's from the time frame when they work out and how to do it,
Right.
but also how to live
Yeah.
with that formula and how to eat. Because you're right, everybody's got a preference. We need to get the protein, but there's multiple sources and you need to know
Right.
how to do it. And if you don't know, there are experts also for that purpose. You can actually seek
Exactly.
that help. And you're right, there's so many modalities and stuff. And reading an article, I mean, articles are a dime dozen. It's a reality. That's fact. And
Exactly.
everybody is pushing a different brand, a different type of
Right.
diet, and therefore they have articles to support that. And
Yep.
that's just a fact. Folks, it's amazing. Like, a show like this, there are thousands of them. And you'll find a lot of folks out there that are talking. And by the way, just in my network, I've had so many different versions of how you can, get healthy and nutrition wise. and they all kind of have the same base, but they all have different formulas or different styles about them. At the end, they still work on the same things. It's the exercise, it's the sleep, concept, and the right diet.
Yeah.
And you have to like, I love what you said earlier, like you can't outrun a bad diet.
Yeah.
Our foods, today are, we just overeat. I mean, that's the
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
One,
Yeah.
I mean, look at Europe. I mean, I always give this,
Oh, yeah.
if you travel and you go to
Hmm.
Europe, the people are slimmer there. They are healthier. Their lifestyle is different.
Oh,
They
it's,
do
yeah.
hang out more. There, if you go to a restaurant there, they're not going to give you like the food where you're going to have another meal to go after you finish your food.
Yeah.
You're going to get it and you'll be like, what is this? And you're going to finish up. You'll probably be hungry later because you're not used to those portions. The
Right.
portions are small. And here we give you like, for you, I mean, that plate could probably feed a whole family if you wanted to.
Oh, for
And
sure.
and then you said it. I mean, if we go on fast food, it's that's what it is. Fast food. It goes in, it goes out. There's no no value for it.
Right.
That's
Well,
another way to look at
look at
it.
the size of like what you could get at fast food and what it was in the 1980s, right? And what it looks like now.
Yeah. Everything is unbelievable. And well,
Yeah.
that's one thing. The other part, I mean, that I believe is another problem. Now you go to get a meal, they give you all these extra refills on
Yeah.
sugar, water.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, that's again, you can work out, that's we talked about protein stuff, but if you're getting
Uh-huh.
all this extra sugars in your body, you're not going to metabolize these things and run them properly eventually.
Right.
30 minutes may not be enough to process that.
Right. Right.
So you got to also watch your intake, how you do stuff.
Yeah.
What do you get into
Yeah.
your body? Sugar is another one. I mean, Jen,
That's a great point. Yeah.
any advice on the sugar intake?
Yeah.
'Cause I think
Yeah.
that's a big problem.
It is. And you know what? So there are, a lot of healthy foods, quote unquote, healthy foods, right? I love Greek yogurt. And I think it is a great source of protein, but you have to watch the added sugars in it. So turn that baby over, read that label, look, how much added sugar is this? Because if you're having that every single day and it has, more than, I like to stay under 6, maybe 9 max grams of added sugar. But if you're having that every single day, that adds up to a lot of added sugar in 1 week, right? I mean, if you're just having one once a month and it's like a treat, okay, great, whatever. But, you might think, oh, I'm eating Greek yogurt and I'm eating healthy. You turn that over and you see, oh my God, it's got 26 grams of sugar in it. Not so healthy after all. So, it is important to look at those things. A lot of protein bars, right, have added sugar. Look at those. If that is something that you are eating every single day, you might want to think about finding a new source of protein, a new snack, if you will, because you're just eating a candy bar, basically.
Well, Jen, sugar is in everything today. I mean,
Right.
like literally, we drink our sugars more than
Uh,
anything else. And you got sodas, you got juices, I have yet, unless it's a fresh squeeze something, that
mhm.
is, that's the only time you're not gonna have something with sugar other than like like fructose type of thing, which would be natural.
Right.
But if you're buying something in a
Right.
can or a bottle, there is a sugar. I mean, orange juice
Oh.
from concentrate, it's like sweet sugar.
Please don't buy
So
that.
that
I know I said to, get the things that you like, but please just squeeze your own oranges or eat an orange. How's that? And just eat an orange.
listen, it is a fact. I mean, listen, when you're young, you drink a lot. I loved orange juice, but I
Oh,
stopped.
yep,
I stopped sugar literally. I mean, I still eat some stuff. Like, I mean,
exactly.
you always crave some things, but it's really
Right.
true moderation. You have to control. Like, if I get something,
Yep.
it's gonna be small. But there
Hmm.
was a time, like, you just drink. I mean, you go to anywhere in a restaurant, you order a big, mug of or glass of
Oh, yeah.
OJ, this cranberry juice, this,
Oh,
all
yeah.
sweet, all sugar added, and we're talking about refined sugars, which is completely,
Right.
it's not good for you whatsoever. I mean, as they refer it as crap,
Right.
caffeine, I think refined sugar, what is that? The additives and preservatives. I mean, those are the key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are, that's the acronym, and it's all bad for you, right? So, and everything that you kind of eat out there, has these components. If
Right.
you're not, really, I love what you said. Yeah, Greek yogurt is great, but
Right.
for people that love dairy, because there's a whole discussion about dairy and all the.
Exactly. Right.
But the idea is, I mean, historically, that's not been a problem. It's traditional, food, but but
Right.
but the concept, to your point, they make it sweet so you can actually enjoy it. They throw in those fruits in them, but
Oh,
they're like
yeah.
concentrated fruits. But
Yeah.
when it's all that's the sweetest part, and it's like basically you're having jam in your yogurt, right? And then it's all sugar business. And
Right.
by the way, folks, it's if you're listening and watching this, you'll be like, "Oh, you guys are too much." We're not going to eat anything. Well, unfortunately, you have there's a choice. We can do this, and basically, eat healthy, or maybe we can keep doing this. And actually, I hear this every time, and my wife
Hmm.
hears this all the time, which is like, "I'm working out, but I'm not losing weight." Well, what do you eat, and when do you eat, and how
Right.
do you eat? What's the quantity you eat? I mean, when you ask this question, the answer is like, why I eat at night? Well, I eat a lot of bread. I eat rice. I did this. I did.
Yeah.
Okay, I drink a lot of soda. I drink this. I mean, none of that stuff is gonna. I mean, you are losing X amount of calories, whatever, but you are doing like double that in the
Right.
intake, and you might get some muscle, but you're actually getting all the extra stuff, so now you cover up
Hmm.
with that extra fat that your body cannot process, and voila, that's it.
Exactly.
And you'll be like, I am not doing. And I love what you said, that this is not a challenge, because you have a lot of programs that have like a 6 week, 10 week challenge, and
Right.
you know what, they'll transform you if you
For
follow the
sure.
exact
Yes,
diet
they
and food.
will.
But then it's not long term. And well, here's what happens: you're gonna
Yeah.
cut everything, and then eventually you're gonna like finish this program. It's like, oh, finally I'm
Yeah.
done. Let me just go back and start, and then you start the cycle
Yes.
again. This is a
Uh-huh.
long term commitment, folks. I mean, you
Yeah.
want to do this and learn it, and it's not easy to get rid of these things. I mean, because they've
Right.
been part of your culture all along.
Yeah.
Listen, we all have been there. I mean, I have been there, and
Yeah.
again, we're human. We do crave. I mean, you go
And
somewhere.
it's not that we don't eat cake. I eat birthday cake, right? But I don't keep it in my house and have it every night, right?
One slice and take it to go.
Exactly. So I don't want people to think that it's not about being extreme, because if you start to go down the extreme route, it's not going to last, right? So it goes back to the 6 week challenge. Those are very extreme, which is why they work and why you get results quickly, right? I mean, we know that, in those types of things, results do happen, and they happen really fast. But then again, like you said, once that is done, the person goes back to living the way that they were. They gain the weight back. They gain even more weight back. And, it was so extreme that they go the opposite direction. So it's about, I hate to say it's about finding balance. That's so cliche, but it really is about learning how to have a better relationship with food and with your exercise, because we want that relationship with the exercise to be healthy. We don't want it to be, oh, I've got to go exercise so I can burn off the cake that I ate. And we don't want to be, oh, I can't have cake. And then we eat the whole cake because we haven't had cake in 6 weeks. So it's learning how to, okay, I am going to allow myself to have this piece of cake. I'm not going to feel guilty in any way for having it, but I'm not going to eat it every single night. I'm going to have it today, and I'm going to go about my business tomorrow, my normal workout and doing my normal things without feeling guilty about what I ate. But I'm not going to eat it every day.
Well, thank you. And actually, I've had discussions with like dietitians, or like
Yeah.
experts in nutrition, and one thing they always kind of like state is that everything is moderation, right? So you have
Mm-hmm.
to understand that you
Right.
can have cheat days, and you can have, but again, it's the quantities. I mean, you crave something.
Right.
Now, obviously, avoid the obvious. I mean, you don't take a spoon of sugar and just put it on your, like
Right.
I stopped like putting sugar in coffee and
Oh, yeah.
tea a long time ago. No
Oh,
soda
yeah.
stuff. But again, that's the thing. Like diabetes is a real thing. It can happen, and that will
Yes.
ruin your life too. And especially if you
Yep.
have predisposed notions because of family, it could
Right.
be a problem. So that's one thing. And then you have also to understand your body, because not everybody
Mm-hmm.
metabolism is the same thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about a particular age group where the body slows down. There is a level of slow down. There's nothing you can do about that. It's gonna maybe there's a variation at a level, but eventually it's not the same as in the 30s and 20s, right? So
Hmm.
it's gonna keep challenging you slowly. So you have to understand these things. And you're right. I mean, you don't go extreme because what happens when you go extreme, you eventually gonna lapse back. And
Hmm.
it's like it's a lot easier to gain weight than actually lose weight. It's a simple thing.
Exactly.
You can gain weight in 3 days, and it will
Yeah.
take you 2 months to drop the same weight, if anything, right?
Yeah.
And if you go too extreme, then you put too much, load on your body, and you might
Hmm.
not have good, aftermath in there. So it's
Right.
important. So, Jen, question: what do you
Hmm.
say about fasting or intermittent fasting? Because I think that's a big discussion. A lot of people
Yeah.
sometimes they combine things to
Right.
achieve goals. What would you
Right.
take?
Right.
What's your take on that?
Again, that falls under the you need to do what works for you and your body. And depending on how your body responds to that, some people with a thyroid disorder don't respond very well to intermittent fasting. Some might respond okay to it. So, again, it's really just when we're talking intermittent fasting, we're just talking about calorie restriction, right? Because we're just taking our calories and we're just having them in a shorter time period. So you have to just figure, is this something that I can see myself doing the rest of my life? And if it is, and if you feel okay doing it, then by all means, go down that path. But if you try it and you're like, this just isn't working for me, again, don't feel like you're a failure. Nothing's going to work. Might as well just give up.
Oh,
Find what does work for you.
and that's I love your advice because that is pretty simple. And this whole discussion today has been, it's so simplified. It's not even funny. I mean, literally, if you hear
Yeah.
anyone watching or listening right now, you'll notice that everyone can do what Jen said today. You can work out, you can do strength training, you can
Mm-hmm.
do it with minimum expenses and minimum time, stuff, and you don't have to go extreme. I mean, what else
Right.
can you get, from this? I mean, really, you can get
Right.
healthy and in a long run maintain a healthier lifestyle and live free and mobile and things like that and have your agility
Mm-hmm.
and vitality at the same time without having
Mm-hmm.
to go on the other extreme, right? It's really that simple. No excuses, folks. If you're watching or listening and you've always found a reason why you were not doing it, today I don't think you're gonna have that. I think this will
Right.
stop you from
Right.
you can get away with this one this time. So
Yeah.
courtesy of Jen.
Yeah, you are so welcome. Well, I just say there's so much information out there, right? We are bombarded every day, whether it is online or on TV or at the grocery store with magazines of do this, do that, don't do this, do this, do that, and then you just get so overwhelmed. Well, let's just cut all the garbage out, right? Here's the things you need to do. We're going to simplify it. Okay. You need to strength train. You need to move your body. You need to sleep. You need to eat protein. And let's just simplify it. Let's do it in small steps. And let's find a way that we can make it part of your lifestyle. So that way it fits into your life seamlessly and you can continue doing it and it becomes a habit. So now you're not even thinking about doing it and you're reaping the benefits. You're feeling better. You have more energy. You can continue doing the things that you like to do and your quality of life has improved.
And that's all we want, right? We want
Yeah.
quality of life, and live happy. I mean, again, folks, we can enjoy this world, and ultimately, there's crazy stuff going on all over us, all the time.
Yeah.
But we have to look at the positive, and again, good example is the pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
it was brutal, it was bad, but some people didn't even, barge with it, and they just moved on with it. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
adapted to it. Their resilience was there.
Right.
So you would have seen people walking around doing stuff and exercising and doing all kind of things. Some
Yeah.
people started their own businesses and they're being successful. Jen, you've done the transition, and many more have done that. I mean that I've had
Yeah.
on. So the idea is that we can do things, and we have the ability to do things as long
Mm-hmm.
as we. Sometimes we just need this, like we just need to
Yeah.
hear it. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
as simple as that.
Right.
You
Right.
get. Oh, I thought this was going to be more difficult. It's not that difficult. You don't have to join anything that is expensive either. I mean, you could if you can afford it. If you want to do that, that's all good. But
Right.
but you can do it as a basic form. Now you can do it alone, or you can get with someone who can guide you to it. Jen,
Hmm.
you do that. Now that takes me to my question.
Hmm.
How, I mean, you do this, I'm assuming, remotely through the app or through a
Hmm.
virtual, platform. How do you do it? So for
Yeah.
people that are
So
listening.
it is my ladies have a monthly subscription, and each month they receive a PDF with all of the exercises along with a video exercise library. So it shows the exercises that they are doing, so they know how to do it, and then they can do their exercises on the day and on the time that works for their schedule, which is, you know, how it works best, because then it fits into their lives and they're able to be consistent with it.
Wherever they are. They could be on a
Right.
trip. They
Exactly.
can be on vacation. They
Exactly.
can be at
Yep.
home. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so again, no
Right.
excuses, ladies. There's
Right.
no. And by the way, guys, you can do the same if you
Yeah.
choose to. I mean, maybe not in this program. I'm not sure. I mean, it's only for ladies, right? Jen, or
I do not have any men. No.
well, but
I mean,
listen,
but here's the thing. Exercises are exercises, right? There's no such thing as a squat for ladies and a squat for men.
agree.
So the exercises are not technically, you know, for women only.
No, I agree.
Right?
So again, so if someone watching,
Yeah.
listen, like, oh, this is you
Yeah.
can do it. You can come up with your
Exactly.
own program. Who cares?
Right.
Find an old man club. It doesn't matter. Do
Right.
what you got to do. But
Right.
but 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 again, the lesson today is you can do it. No excuses. No matter what. No matter
Yeah.
how. There is a way you can do this in a simplified way that
Hmm.
includes your overall health, spirit, yeah, and just lifestyle. So it can all
Right.
do this and work. And by the way, you stated something about, like, say you talked about thyroid, which is a very
Hmm.
common. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it is very common, and it does affect your metabolism. It affects your hormones. It affects your
Hmm.
regulation and how you operate. And yes, it does take a toll on the body. And by the way, you talked about the particular age where there is perimenopause and menopause, and there
Hmm.
are a lot of different transformation and changes that are happening for the ladies in this particular time frame,
Right.
and it does take a toll on everything. So understanding those dynamics, applying correctly, working, putting these things
Hmm.
will help you stay better and eventually kind of like get through the phases without any difficulty.
Right.
I mean, maybe a level of difficulty is always there. I mean, there's no
Right.
pain, no gain, as they say, right? You have to have some of that, and
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. You have to know that this is not going to be okay. We make it sound very easy and stuff, but you still got to put the work, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You still have to show up, and if you don't show up, I can send you all the PDFs in the world and all the exercise libraries, but if you don't actually show up and do the exercises, doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's not going to help. So you got to show up.
All right. Well, so Chan, what would be some of the biggest advice you want to give, our audiences today,
Hmm.
so before we actually close the show?
I would say it's okay to take care of yourself. So a lot of women feel guilty for taking that time, but you have to remember that if you don't take the time to care for yourself, you can't care for others. And so if you are having that, oh, but I can't because I have to take care of this, this, and this, and this. Well, you can't take care of this, this, and this if your body decides not today, sister. So you need to make sure that you are showing up for yourself first, and then you can take care of others.
Actually, I would add, just Jen, that is not selfish. That is actually smart, because
Right.
you cannot
Right.
help anyone if you're not able to help yourself first. So
That's
you
just
want to
it,
be. Yeah, because
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, I just want to do things right and for the others," but you can't do anything for them the day that you're not anymore able, right? So you want
Yep.
to keep able to be able to help them and be there for them, and be around your loved ones. Otherwise, you're not going to be good for them or to them. So
Right.
so thank you.
Right.
That's a super advice. Now, Jen, how can people reach out and sign up for your program?
My website is strongforlifefitness.com. And there is you can go on there and there is a free workout that you can download and get started with a free workout today.
All right, and they can follow you on Instagram. I see that
I am
you have
on
great posts
Instagram.
there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. On Instagram and Facebook, I am Fit with Shaver. So you can find me there.
All right. Well, again, ladies, and by the way, guys,
Yeah.
here's the thing, guys, maybe not for you, but you do have women in your life, right? It's your
Right.
wife, your daughter, your mother, your cousin, whoever it is,
Right.
your colleagues, giving them the advice, share with them this episode, share with
Yeah.
them the value that they can actually do. But if you like and love the people around you and the women around you in life, you want them to be healthy and live in the life, continuous life, in the most vital way. So this is an opportunity. So share the wealth. This is not
Yeah.
this is not a show for guys. You, this is the thing. Like we all connected. There's no way you're gonna
Right.
say like I have no woman in my life. There is not a man that I know that doesn't have a woman in life. It starts with your mom, right? So
Right.
you can get started with that, and help. So one way or the other, we can help people around. And by the way, this is not limited to the States. I'm assuming, right, Jen?
Right.
So
No,
anyone,
no. Yep. Yeah.
again, doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you
That's right.
complain that I don't have the gym, I don't have the way, pretty easy to access. So
Yeah.
so I will have the link of the website into the
Okay.
description of the show, so people actually can reach out to you, and hopefully
Great.
they can benefit from your program and just stay healthy and alive. That's it. That's all we
Yep.
have to say.
That's age successfully.
That's it. I mean, what else you want, right? I mean, you
That's
want to
right.
age, and for as long as you live, and that's it. I mean, that's the best plan.
Yeah.
There's no better plan than that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jen, thank you so much for being with us today. I enjoyed the discussion, and like I said, I'm a
Yes.
fan. And by the way, do follow. She has a podcast too, so you wanna
Yeah.
get her action there, and her guests are awesome. Great stuff, great discussions, and definitely will supply and add you more value of how to live healthier and happier. So that's it for me today. Jen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And folks, so we'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new guest. Talk soon. Bye for now.